I'm going to read a story when I hired out as a trainman. Again, I reported to Seattle's historic King Street station with the clock tower, which was once the tallest man-made structure west of the Mississippi River. At King Street Station, along with 9 other potential trainmen, I began 3 weeks of instruction in the classroom run by a semi-retired conductor working as a trainmaster from Montana. This man definitely would have been deemed politically incorrect in today's world. The class consisted of 10 people, 2 ladies, one of whom was black, and 8 men, one of whom was also black. At that time, railroads were under great scrutiny by lawmakers and equal rights organizations to hire women and blacks. It was the 70s, man, in the midst of the Virginia Slims revitalizing era of the women's rights movement, and blacks were still not deemed equal by many. The gentleman's agreement was that each hiring class was to be about 20% women and 20% black. I surmised that by hiring a black woman, the company was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The class consisted of a lot of stories by the instructor about different train wreck scenarios that could occur if rules were not followed, the colors of signals and their meaning, and adding a few stories of trainmen and locomotive engineers who had lost limbs and their lives in accidents. Over my career, I came to know a few. Every day we went to lunch, and some of us had a beer or 2 and puffed on a little reefer. One day our instructor and a couple classmates drove us all to Balmer Yard in Seattle, and we watched switching operations from the parking lots. After observing switching operations, we had knuckle insertion class, where a healthy veteran switchman showed us how to replace a knuckle in a drawbar. A knuckle is an iron piece of the coupler unit at the end of drawbars used to connect and disconnect trains, weighing somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 pounds and slightly resembling the human's closed fist. After the veteran switchman showed us with ease the insertion procedure, we were then asked to demonstrate the procedure ourselves, while being observed by a trainmaster. Not one of us completed the procedure easily, and some of us could not even lift the knuckle off the ground. That was my first experience in train service of a trainmaster looking the other way. The next day, during the final rules class, I would observe my second. To be honest with you, some of why I survived keeping my job on the railroad for 40 years, I can attribute to trainmasters looking the other way. After writing this book, I realized that towards the end of my career, I turned my head the other way a few times in order for a trainmaster to survive keeping their job. I kept track of every single one of my classmates. The black guy Ed became a switchman in Seattle's Stacy Street Yard for several years before giving it up. The black lady Wendy quit her position after about a year. I heard that she had found a job more to her liking. One guy gave it up right away. His wife was not fond of the extra board. Another fellow made it 20 years before getting a disability. A fellow named Mike made 30 plus years, and like I mentioned earlier, my friend made 30 years and myself 40. The other 3 all eventually moved on to different careers. One in the computer field, one lady became a fireman, as did another guy in the class who was the first person I gave a nickname on the railroad. His nickname was Foghorn Leghorn. His voice was deep with a slight southern drawl, and it reminded me of the cartoon rooster character I grew up watching on TV.